Hello, this is Cam. Welcome to the Amma Manson Network. And for those joining me on my channel, welcome to Jamaica Yawede and Authentic Jamaican Memory Lane. So these are channels that I operate, and if you love Jamaica, if you love all things Jamaican, just go on over to YouTube and show a sister some love. Subscribe. So that's Jamaica Ayawide and Authentic Jamaican Memory Lane. So as usual, we're continuing our look at Jamaican proverbs, Jamaican wise sayings. This week, I'm going to twist it up a bit. We're going to talk about proverbs. Yeah, we always, and we have tons and tons and tons. But this week, I'm going to actually apply these proverbs to some things that I've been seeing in the media recently, right? So we're going to look at 4 proverbs as usual, but 3 of them I'm going to tie in to some stories that have come up in the past week or so. And each of these stories I have actually done videos on, right, on my different channels. So on Commodacity, on the Jamaica channels, I've done videos in their own right on each of these. So the first proverb I'm going to look at is, in Jamaica we have a saying, sorry for Margadog, him turn round bite you. Sorry for Margadog, him turn round bite you. Literally, or in English, that would be, you take pity on a skinny dog, a godforsaken dog, a dog that has been left out in the cold. You bring him in, you take pity on him, and he turns around and bites you in the ass. The story that I want to link this up with this morning is the story of Tyrese Gibson and his girlfriend, Zelly Timothy. Now, in the past week, Tyrese has been, coming under a lot of ridicule, a lot of pity, a lot of, it's blown up in the media because he streamed live on Instagram, officially introducing the world to his girlfriend and telling about how they met. And the stream starts off pretty well, with them. He's sitting and she's behind him and they're caressing, and it's a real romantic, loving moment. And, Terry starts off by saying, well, we met on Instagram. I slid into her DM, and trust me when I tell you, it went downhill from there because Zelly started saying, well, guys, he wasn't really my type. I really preferred Paul Walker, the late Paul Walker, who I understand were close friends with Terry. So she's saying, well, that he was my preference, right? Or someone like him. I would have preferred someone more like Paul Walker. Tyrese wasn't my type. And immediately Tyrese was saying, this isn't going the way I planned. This clearly Tyrese, being the big star that he is, top-notch singer, movie star. I think he was even in modeling at some point. A big star, right? Top-notch star. He's not expecting to be hearing this from an Instagram model. So immediately in his mind, he's saying, huh? This isn't going well. This is going really bad, really quick, right? And she continues, by saying, well, I don't see why you're shocked to me. I mean, you should have known this already. I didn't make it a secret. So basically, she's saying he was not her first option. She settled for him. That she didn't say it in that many words, but a lot of people would interpret it as that. And I'm thinking by the look on Tyrese's face, that's how he was interpreting all of this. So are you saying you're settling for me? Are you saying that you, the Instagram model, is settling for Tyrese? Yeah, and she's insisting, what am I saying? Like she, if not clueless, then trying very awkwardly to mop up, to do some damage control, probably sensing no, you know, what she has said, what she has done, and trying to mop up. But in trying to mop up, she's just making the whole thing much worse. Because at one point, she's even covering over his mouth, preventing him from speaking. Because he was saying, you know what, I'm gonna end this live right now because this is clearly a humiliating moment for him. And he said, you know what, this isn't going the way I planned. I'm gonna end this. And she's doing like this. No, 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 no. Let me say what I'm saying because this is something that you should know. This is something that I've not hidden from you. You are not my type. And she's going on. But I am sure if Tyrese was Jamaican, if he had access to this Jamaican proverb, that's pretty much what he would be saying in his head. Sorry for Marga Dog, then turn around bite you, because she's the Marga Dog here. She is the Marga Dog in this picture. He is the big star. He is the one who, at least I'm sure in his. And then she was also saying, when he first approached me, I was saying, oh, he's old, and she's doing the facial expression. To go with it. She's doing the facial expressions that would go with you saying, oh, this guy, I was saying, oh, he's old, he's not my type. I would have preferred his friend. All the expressions that go with that. And he's there and she's massaging him, and I'm sure if Tyrese was a Jamaican, he would be saying, boy, sorry for Marga Dog, him turn around bite you, because he's thinking he's in the upper position here. He's the one who is a star. So I'm sure this comes as a great blow to his ego as a man, as someone who is used to the limelight, used to people. Give me 1 second. Hello? Oh, morning. He's on holiday and I thought Miss Court now. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Sorry about that. My son's driver came to pick him up and didn't realize he's on holidays. All right, so schools are out some schools are out as of today. Okay, so I was saying, yeah, that's pretty much what must have been going on in Tyrese's mind. sorry for Marga Dog, then turn around by it. And I mean, we don't know how this is going to develop. Is it something that he can live with? Is it something that what is it going to do for their relationship? That's left to be seen. But I know it was quite obvious to everyone because a lot of YouTubers and vloggers and so on did a reaction to this clip. A lot of persons, a lot of big names did reactions to this clip. So it's something that it left more than a ripple, right? So we are left to see what's going to come of this. But it is a lesson for us. You have to be careful who you associate with. And you also have to be careful when you feel like you're in the position, you feel like you're the one who is in the position to help, right? Now, and this is a question too that we need to consider. Was he even right to think that he's the one in the position to help her up, right? Was this blow to his ego a rude awakening, in the sense that no, you should not view people in that way, to think that because you are the star, you are the this, you are the catch, right? Then people are now obligated to you and should elevate you to that position. So there is that too, right? As an Instagram model, do you have the right to say, well, yeah, you may have been the star, but I don't see this relationship as you doing me a favor, right? So there is that. So the thing is, as we say in Jamaica, you must count your costs. Whatever you decide to do it with sincerity first. Don't do it as a way of putting somebody else in a compromising position because of what you have done to elevate them. And if you are in that position where you help somebody, where you're sorry for your Marga Dog, just remember that they can turn on and bite you, being dogs. That's their nature, right? That's their nature. Of course, using an analogy, I'm not by any means saying that this young lady is a dog, right? I'm just using it as an analogy. So the next proverb that we have in Jamaica, and I'm going to tie this to another big story in the media lately. Cow no know the use of him tail till fly take him. Cow no know the use of him tail till fly take him. Literally, a cow doesn't know the use or the purpose of his tail until flies swarm down on him, and then he knows. But sometimes is when you find out the use of the thing is when you don't actually have the thing to use, right? By extension. And the story that I want to link this up with is the Cora Obidi story, right? Cora Obidi and her ex-husband, right? So recently in the news, everybody knows Cora, and everybody is she has bought a house, and as with most things that Cora does, it's split right in the middle, right? So you have a lot of persons on her team celebrating, yay, Cora has bought a house, Cora is progressing. But also, no, you would have other persons who are saying, trying to criticize, trying to find some way of making it less than what it is. Some way of saying, she did it by illegal means, or she did it by whatever means. But the fact of the matter is that Cora has bought a house. Cora is a progressive girl, and from my observations of her, there are things that still make me cringe about Cora. However, there are also things that I can relate to a lot with her. I see myself in her in terms of her work ethic, in terms of her resilience, in terms of her independence and her determination, and the way she is resourceful, the way she is determined to use her talents to the full extent. Right. Many things about Cora I see in myself, and so I can relate to her. And I think even her detractors will admit she is a magnetic personality. She has a lot of charisma. So yeah, she is a progressive person, and she's showing the world that she will progress. And I think her ex-husband, I am willing to assume that he must be feeling some kind of way. And he must by now realize that he has lost a gem. Anyone, I would venture to say, any man who loses a girl like Cora loses a gem, because she's clearly someone to have on your team in terms of progress. She's a very progressive individual. The ways that she goes about progressing, some of the ways, I would not necessarily go that way, but that's me. But she has a different personality, she has a different set of values. So it is not for me to judge her value set. Mine are different, but the core principles that she has, the core principles that she follows, definitely are positive. And I venture to say that her ex-husband, Justin, must be reeling. I think any sensible man would reel, particularly if he originally was sincere in his feelings towards her. I have seen a lot of women like Cora, very progressive, very dominant, very resourceful. And because the men in their lives could not handle that kind of woman, they lost that woman to their detriment. And then they have to sit in the corner and lick their wounds, but they have to just bear it because there's nothing else they can do, right? I don't even know if men will learn, because sometimes when you observe how men, especially how they act, it's as if they don't have the capacity to learn until they have gone through, because they as a group, they keep making the same mistakes, and they keep making the same mistakes for the same silly reasons. It's almost as if they are compelled to make these mistakes, right? Now, as I said, I've done different videos on each of these stories that I'm tying into the proverbs for this week, right? So come no know the use I'm till fly take him. Don't be that cow who, you don't know what you have. You don't know the real value of the resources that are in your hands until you lose it, until you need it. And then you realize, hey, but I had this thing. I had this thing in my hands. I had access to this thing, and now access has been denied. Some of the times you yourself cut off that access. And now you're realizing, oh, well, that was a really dumb thing to do. We have to learn to value the people in our lives. We have to learn to not take advantage of them, or should I say disadvantage of them. We have to learn that when we have dominant persons in our lives, it is our duty to allow them that space to grow and to thrive in their dominance. Dominance is not a bad thing. It's how you use it or abuse it. When a woman is as strong and independent and progressive as Cora Obidi is, that is something that a man should use to his advantage. That's something you should use to your advantage. It's not something that you should allow yourself to feel threatened by, right? So sometimes you have a gem and you allow it to just slip right out of your hands. And this is what I think has happened in the Cora Obidi and Justin Dean case. If you're interested in my views, more extensive views on Cora, just go on the channel, Audacity, and check out the video that was recently posted on Cora Obidi. And the fact that I think Cora is in she's almost on the verge of becoming or making herself into a caricature. And in that video I discussed that, why I say that she's becoming a caricature, which to me would not be a positive thing. So she has to know how to juggle and balance what she's doing right now, right? But more on that in that video. The other proverb that I want to tie in with a really sad story. I did a video on this story a couple of days ago, and it was, when I first saw the clips popping up on Facebook, I was just so, it was just so sad. And this proverb is kiba your mouth. In Jamaica, we have a saying, kiba your mouth. And that means keep your mouth shut. Just be quiet. Don't rail up over everything, right? Don't chatty and can't stop and don't know how to control yourself. Now I'm tying this in with the story of a woman who she shot her husband on Facebook Live, right? And he succumbed to his injuries on Facebook Live. Fortunately, the section of the clip where the actual crime took place was not on video. So she started the video on Facebook Live. The altercation started. She was taking the viewers through the situation, talking to them about why she's upset. She was really angry at her husband. So this is Khadijah Brown, and her husband was Jeremy Brown, and they are from Mississippi in the United States. They are both 28 years old, and they share 4 kids in that marriage, 4 young kids. At least one of the children was at the house, and I would say probably all the children were there, because during the clip you could hear the children crying after their father had been slain. So Khadijah was going through, she went to the house. Her mom was there helping out. So the grandma is there, kids are there, husband is there. And she was arguing with him. Now, Jeremy was really trying his best to leave. He didn't want the altercation. He wanted to go to work. He kept telling her, give me some space. I don't want to fight. I want to leave. He was actually on the phone with his uncle, I believe. I think he was on the phone with his uncle. She was relentless, relentless. She couldn't keep her mouth. She couldn't keep her mouth, right? Relentless and up in his face. So at one point, the video stops because she either throws the phone down or the phone is knocked. I don't know how the phone got out of her hands, but then you couldn't see anything. But you could hear the rest of the altercation. You could hear the arguing. You could hear him saying that he wanted to leave. And then you hear the sound of the shot, one shot. And of course, he's screaming. Now, at this point, the sad part is Khadijah starts screaming that she didn't mean it, she didn't mean it. And as far as I heard in the clip, she was actually at one point saying, wake him up, wake up, Jeremy, wake up, asking someone to wake him up or asking him to wake up. That's what I heard. So the clip it's circulated a lot on Facebook in the past couple of days. I don't know, some of you may have seen it or you may not have seen it. So she did not resist arrest. Based on the police reports, there was no resistance. She went, she's in custody. Now, she was arguing about the fact that Jeremy was not giving as much time to the kids or to her as she would have liked. He was not present in the home as she would have liked. And based on other reports, she was also accusing him of being on the down low, right? For those of you who know what that means, when a guy is on the down low, she was accusing him of that. But in having this altercation, in having a weapon, in having that weapon go off, whether you intended it or not, the fact of the matter is that dad is not here now to be with the kids anyway, is he? He's not here now to be with her, is he? And on top of that, she herself is not available now to the kids, is she? So, having gone through all of that, the crazy, and streaming it live. So I did a video on that and I was urging women, especially, learn fikiba your mouth. Learn fikiba your mouth. You must be able to control that mouth. You see that mouth of ours? And I've heard men say this, I've heard men say that, you see, a woman's mouth can cut you to the deepest part of your heart. A woman, her mouth can cut a man, can cut anyone, but when it's directed especially at the lover in her life, the man who is by her side, when that mouth is directed towards him, it can cut. That mouth can speak life into him. It can nurture him. It can build him up. It can let him fly. It can let him soar to the highest heights. And that same mouth of a woman can cut that man, as big as he is, as strong as and powerful as he is, and as tiny as she is, and weak as she is. That mouth can cut that man down to weeks and months after he's there thinking about what she has said. And then she's there in fury, trying to block the way of this man who wants to leave. He says, I don't want to fight, I don't want to argue, I want to go to work. She's insisting she wants this argument. She has invited the entire Facebook to this argument, and there will be an argument. She invited everybody. She sent out the invitations. She's there narrating blow by blow, blow by blow. And then when it comes to the climax and the worst happens, now you're going to say, I didn't mean it. I didn't intend for it to go this far. Wake up. You're telling someone to wake up and you just put a hole through them. We have to learn to keep our mouth, especially women, because the mouth seems to be our greatest weapon as women. That is our greatest weapon. And we have to learn to use it with discretion and to understand the power that it holds. So our ancestors knew what they were saying when they advised us, kiba your mouth, kiba your mouth. The last thing I want to talk about this morning, and it's not really a proverb, it's just a gesture that we have here. In Jamaica, we say, walk good, walk good. It's actually a form of farewell, but it's loaded. And as one of my mentors, the Honorable Louise Bennett Coverley, who we in Jamaica here affectionately refer to as Miss Lou, folklorist, poet. She always is something that she always said whenever she was partying or whenever she did a presentation and she was finished. Walk good. So in Jamaica we say, walk good and good duppy walk with you. Walk good and good duppy walk with you. So duppy is our word for spirits, ghosts, your ancestors who accompany you. Walk good and good duppy will walk with you. Because yeah, you have good duppy and you have bad duppy, right? When the good duppy walk with you, you're in good hands. Walk good is not just how you it has literally to do with going off, stepping through life, but it's your actions, how you treat people, how you avoid certain altercations, how you are able to have insight and foresight so you can make predictions of what's possible and avoid the ones that you want to avoid and put yourself in line with the ones that are going to benefit you. So you are proactive in your life. You do things to get specific results. You do things to avoid specific results. You don't leave yourself up to chance. You don't leave your fate in the hands of others any more than you need to. I mean, we all interact in this global space, and some of the things that others do, yes, you're going to, by nature of how the reality is set up, yes, you might fall into some of those actions unavoidably, right? Because it's this wild crisscross of actions and inactions and all of that. But you can be purposeful, and there are things you can align yourself with, and there are things you can remove yourself out of the way, right? Okay, so my phone is ringing and my cue. That's my cue. So yeah, that's the last proverb for this week. Walk good, and I urge you all to walk good so the good duppies can walk with you. Until next week when we look at some more Jamaican proverbs, this is Cam. Walk good.